No one really prepares you for this stage of life, the quiet that sneaks in when the calls stop coming, when the house stays silent longer than you'd like. It's not the noise that hurts, but the absence of it. There's a moment, somewhere, in the later chapters, when you realize the majority of your life is already behind you. And, strangely, despite all your efforts, all your striving, all your sacrifices, you still don't feel like you've arrived. But maybe, just maybe, that's the whole point. In your younger years, life was a chase. You chased validation, you chased love, you chased wealth, admiration, purpose, hoping that when you caught enough of it, you'd finally feel whole. You wanted to be someone, to prove something, to make noise in a world that rarely listens for long. But then, one day, you wake up and notice the applause has stopped. No one's watching anymore. They expect you to already be the man, to have it figured out. But deep inside, you still feel like that uncertain boy, standing on the edge of manhood, trying to earn his place. This is where many men begin to spiral. Some drown in regrets, things they didn't say, didn't do, didn't become. Others numb the silence with distractions, busyness, consumption, cheap thrills. But the Stoics saw this phase not as decline, but as transformation. The beginning of true manhood. Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." That truth strikes harder with age. These years, your later ones, aren't meant for fading quietly. They're meant for forging something resilient, something eternal. You no longer need the world's cheers. What you need is silence, deep silence, the kind that reveals your real self, stripped of ego, performance, and masks. This is the path of the Stoic. Not louder, but deeper. Not faster, but firmer. You rise early, not out of obligation, but out of choice. Discipline becomes your companion. Your food is simple now, because you eat to fuel, not to impress. Your words are few, but chosen carefully. Wisdom is never loud. And the people who drain your energy, you let them go. You were never here to carry everyone else's weight. You were here to carry your own. Solitude no longer scares you. A lion walks alone not because he's lost, but because he doesn't need the crowd to remember he's a king. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." That isn't fear. That's freedom. The Stoic man doesn't chase immortality, he chases honor. He doesn't run from hardship, he endures it. He doesn't fear time, he uses it to sharpen his soul while the rest of the world dulls itself in luxury. He becomes someone his younger self would stand in awe of. And maybe the world won't remember your name, but if you walk this path, you will remember who you truly are. You will stand rooted, solid, unshakable. So, if you find yourself in the second half of life, stop chasing what was never meant to be held. Stop needing the spotlight. Let go of the race. Because now, it's time to build something no one can take from you: character, courage, conviction, stillness. This is not your end. This is your second beginning. And it starts when you choose the old vibes. No one warns you about this part of life, the quiet loneliness that creeps in when the phone stops ringing, the haunting realization that most of your life is behind you, and you still don't feel like you ever arrived. But maybe that's the point. You spend your years chasing a woman, money, respect. But eventually, you wake up one morning and realize all the noise has faded. The world doesn't clap for you anymore. People expect you to already know who you are. But deep down you still feel like that same boy trying to prove something, trying to be something. And this is where most men spiral. They either live in regret or distract themselves to death. But the Stoics and thee saw this chapter not as a decline, but as the beginning of true manhood. Seneca said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." Your later years aren't meant to be spent fading away. They're meant to be forged into something unshakable. You don't need louder applause. You need deeper silence. Second of silence that reveals who you truly are, without the masks, without games. This is the Stoic path. Wake up early, not because you have to, but because discipline is your anchor. Eat simply because you no longer live to impress. You live to endure. Speak less because wisdom isn't loud, it's precise. Let go of people who drain you. You're not here to carry everyone. Walk alone if needed. A lion doesn't fear solitude. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his journal, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." You see, the Stoic man doesn't chase, he chases honor. He sharpens his soul while the world dulls itself with pleasure. He becomes Samianeus, younger self would bow to, and the world may forget your name, but if you walk this path, you will never forget who you truly are. So if you're in this second half of your life, stop chasing what you were never meant to keep. Instead, become what no one can take away. This is your second beginning. Choose the old vibes.